Hi, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Black Girl Creative. My name's Alecia Renece, and I'm so happy that you are here. Welcome. Today, we're going to talk about dreams. Last October, I wrote an essay or a journal entry, a poem, I don't know, just thoughts about Black women and their dreams. I really do believe that Black women's dreams change the world, and so I want to share what I wrote with you. So, here we go. What happens when a Black woman dreams? The world changes. She dreams of a future that includes the well-being of herself and others. When a Black woman dreams, we're able to see possibilities we never knew existed. But someone has stolen her dream. Someone has told her that her dreams are selfish, silly, ridiculous. She's been told that this reality is the only reality that she's allowed to live in. So she forgets. She forgets that she was here at the foundations of reality. She forgets that she's made of the very fabric that was torn, perverted, consumed, and twisted. She forgets that she is the very fabric that they build the dreams of those that enslave her. What would happen if she remembered who she is, the magic that she is? They know. They know that she has the power to extract matter out of her imagination, movement from heartbreak. And so they rob her of rest, of truth. They blind her to her own beauty. They make her a stranger to her own soul and an enemy of her own spirit. They know that if she remembered herself, the world would never be the same. They know that the reality they live in is unsustainable, incomplete, violent, and the tab has to be paid. They built their worth with her dreams, her tears, her labor. They robbed her of community and the chance to first be in community with herself. They withheld from her the power of her own dreams. What becomes of Black women dreams deferred? They turn into barbed wire, strife, jealousy, and envy. They become her own shackles, a cancer consuming anything that breathes life. Heartbreak too painful to stand. She chooses numbness. Communities are destroyed. Her soul is tortured in her own hell. It's not her fault that she doesn't know yet, but it's my joy to remind her, to help her to remember herself, her dreams, her joys, to help her close her eyes and rest without fear or guilt, to remind her that the world spins because of her. I'm quite burned out from living in their limited reality. It exhausts, it extracts, it forces, it pushes, it rushes, it harms, it hurts. I've got to heal myself through my own dreams. All others are healed through my own healing. I don't believe that our dreams are unrealistic. I believe our dreams were given to us on purpose. I believe that the world we're living in is unrealistic. It's unsustainable. Why doesn't my dream get the right and the space to be seen, felt, and realized? In order to dream, I need space. I need rest. I need joy. I need community. In order to dream, what do you need? So that's what I wrote in October. It was just my thoughts about how Black women's dreams change the world and how we're often too afraid to chase our dreams, right? Like we want to change the world. We want to change our communities. We want to inspire other Black women. And somehow we feel like we're not equipped or we're not enough. We wrestle with, wanting to be seen, but then being afraid of being seen, right? And judged and ridiculed. And it's amazing to me because Black women have the power to change so much with their dreams. Like when a Black woman dreams, the world changes, right? She imagines what else is possible. And we live in this world that keeps telling us like, oh, our dreams are unrealistic. It's not going to happen. How are you going to do that? X, Y, and Z. But it's like, but how did we get here? Like we're living in somebody's dream right now. And it's a nightmare for half of us. Okay. It's a nightmare for most of us, I'll say confidently. And to extinguish that fire, to say like, oh, your dream is unrealistic, is a lie. A lot of Black women who I talk to, their dreams have to do with loving other people. Like at the root of it, it's love. It's trying to set Black women free. It's trying to remind Black women that they're worthy, heal their bodies, all these different things, create a sanctuary, open a tiny home, a tiny home neighborhood or whatever, right? Like the dreams of Black women are healing. First to themselves, but also to the world around them. Like the beautiful thing about our dreams is that our dreams don't just include us. It's not just about us because we are communal minded, right? We're about community. We consider other people as well. It's like even as we do the work, as I'm doing the work and I'm linking arm in arm with other women doing the work, it's amazing because even as we're healing, we want to bring Black women with us. We want Black women to heal alongside with us, right? And the fear of judgment and ridicule keeps us bound. The fear of it being silly or stupid or not being impactful enough or not being enough keeps us bound, keeps us from doing the dream, carrying out the dream, or dreaming in general. And when we don't dream, that's, I feel like, when we become envious and we become sad and unfulfilled. And so we look for fulfillment in other things, or, we push down our dreams and say, oh, not me. This person can, but I can't. But why not you? Why not you? We were in the garden last fall and we were talking about dreams. And in November, we had this conversation about seeds. And I believe every dream that you have is a seed. Every dream is a seed, right? And so what do we know about seeds? Seeds are small. Seeds are small. So at the time of the inception of the dream, you only have a seed. You have what you think it could be. It's like a thing full of potential. And you can't really see what it's going to be later on, right? But when you plant that seed in the ground, and you water it and you nourish it, what happens? Something sprouts. And eventually it becomes a plant or a tree or, vegetables or fruit or something, right? Something on a vine, it becomes something, right? And then what happens? That fruit produces seed again, right? And then those seeds go into the ground. They become trees or fruit or plants, and then they put seed in the ground again. And so the growth that happens is exponential. It's not really step by step. It's like, okay, I plant this one seed and maybe the seed yields 10 other seeds, right? And then those 10 seeds go in the ground, and then those seeds yield 100 seeds, right? And then those 100 seeds, you feel me, like you go on and on, right? That's how it is with Black woman dreams. When a Black woman dreams, she has a seed. When she takes that action, she plants that seed into the ground, right? And what happens in the ground, what yields, right, is none of our business. That's not our concern. The plant or the tree, the seed is going to bloom as it blooms. What our job is to nourish that seed. And I actually want to start a new series within the Black Girl Creative podcast where I interview other Black women who are dreaming, who are either holding the seed in their hand, right, putting the seed in the ground, having the audacity to put it in the ground, seeing it grow, right, and having those seeds plant other seeds, because you really see the power of Black women and their dreams, right? And I want to interview Black women in every stage of the process. A lot of times we only see people after they complete the finished thing, right? They finish the thing. It's like, okay, this is my, magnum opus or whatever, right? And for us who are just getting started, it can feel like, that's intimidating, right? I can't do that. But we have to remember that everything that we see, a full grown, plant from other women started as a seed. So I want to talk to women at every stage. The woman with the idea, the seed in her hand, the idea, right? The woman who was mourning her dreams, a dream not working out, right? A seed that didn't bloom. Let's talk to women like that. Let's talk about the work in between, that in between stage when you can't see anything sprouting from the ground. I've been there. I'm currently there where you can't see anything. You put the plant in the ground and you're like, okay, I don't know when harvest is or what I'm actually growing. All I have is the seed, right? Talking to women in that place, that in-between place. Like I wrote a whole song about being in the in-between. That's hilarious. I feel like I sound like a Porky Pig. That's all, folks. Anyway, the stutter. Sometimes I stutter. But yes, talking to women at every stage of their dream, of their seed. And so one thing I want to share from the garden that we talked about is the seed has the potential to become a living being, right? The potential for that seed, that dream that you have is limitless. And there's a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson that I love and I keep in the back of my mind when I am starting a new project or getting a new idea or feeling small or insignificant or feeling like, oh, what I'm doing is not enough. And the quote says, "The creation of 1,000 forests is in one acorn." Again, the creation of 1,000 forests is in one acorn. What does that mean? In that one seed, you have the potential for 1,000 forests. You have the potential for 1,000 forests, right? But first you got to put that seed in the ground. We can hope, we can pray, we can be like, oh my God, this has so much potential, but nothing is going to happen until we put that seed in the ground. And that looks different for different people, right? But with one seed, we can do so much. The ripple effect of your dreams is exponential, limitless. there are people, like even from making a song, right? There are people listening to my song, again, in their yoga studios, in their retreats, and all these different things that I couldn't even imagine, right? I thought success looked one way, but I'm finding that people forming community and relationships around my music, that is what's really fulfilling. But I would have never known that had I not put the seed in the ground, had I not made the first song, right? Sung the first song a cappella with no music. If I didn't do that first thing, if I thought that I was too insignificant, if I thought that my gift wasn't enough, nobody would be listening to my music, right? Nobody would be listening to my music in their studio. Like I get messages from people saying that their music helps them to feel seen. Like what? Like again, at the time, I couldn't see that in that seed, right? I just saw the seed. I just had the desire to sing. I didn't know where it was going to take me. I didn't know what was going to come of it, right? But from that, from singing, I have made friends. I've made my family smile. I've made other people feel seen and less alone. And that is something I could not see with that seed in my hand. I had to put it in the ground and allow it to grow into what it would become, right? And the question I have for you to consider is, whose seeds are you living from? Whose seeds are you living off of, right? Like, sure, we can talk about plants and animals and all the fruit and all the vegetables that we eat, but for real, like, whose dreams are you benefiting from? There are so many, I'm looking at my bookshelf right now. There are so many Black women authors on my bookshelf, and I'm grateful that they planted their seed. And it started with writing the first sentence or journaling or sharing an idea, right? As I'm looking on my desk, I have Trisha Hersey's, from the Nat Ministry, her rest deck, right? And this rest deck started as a seed, as an idea, the inception of an idea. It started with her, honestly. If you hear her talk about her story, it started with her seeking to heal her own body, to save her own life, right? And from that seed, she was able to birth the Nat Ministry, and we can now quote her and use her book as like sacred text to help us to get through, right? And that was from her own generosity, from her own seed. There are other people's seeds that we're living off of. The car you drive is somebody's seed, okay? The internet, the computer that I'm using right now, the microphone, these are all other people's seeds. And so when we are generous, right, when sharing our gift, because sharing our gift is generous, when we're sharing our gift, other people are able to feast from our seeds, from our yield, or whatever our seeds yield, right? There's a lot of fear that I have with sharing. And there's an account that I follow on Instagram, and her name, she goes by Inspired to Write. And one quote that she said, and it really helped me, because I, again, as I said, have a problem with self-promotion. It's a thing for me. It's like, I don't want to be too much. I don't want to be annoying. It's very vulnerable to share your heart and to be like, hey, I made this. I want you to listen to this, right? You're putting yourself out there. It's scary. It's scary because people can reject you. People can hate it. People can poo-poo it, right? But one thing that she said on her account was, it's a generous act for you to share your art. It's generosity. It's not It's not self-promotion necessarily. It's you being generous. Hey, I made this thing. I think you might enjoy it. You see how the language changed? Hey, I made this thing. I hope you like it, right? As opposed to, hey, I made this thing and I really hope that you enjoy this and think about this. And I really hope it inspires you to create something. I hope it inspires you to love yourself more, right? When we share our gifts and our art, it's generous. It's kind. It's kind. It's the exact opposite of what we're taught. I know as Black women, we're often taught to be seen and not heard, to swallow our pain, to make room for everybody else, to support everybody else, to be the foundation for everybody else. And oftentimes we forget ourselves. We forget our own dreams, right? And then we look up and we wonder why we're not fulfilled or why we are depressed or anxious. And I'm not necessarily talking about like depression as a whole, because that can be for, a lot of reasons. But I do feel like when we suppress our dreams, it has damaging effects that last forever. And that ripples out, right? So whether you plant the seed or you don't, it's still going to affect the population. How? How is not chasing your dream going to affect the population? We don't get to see your art. We don't get to see you. We don't get to celebrate you and learn from you and connect with you and love on you when you hide. There's no safety in the dark. There's no safety in hiding. But when you share your art, when you are brave, when you share a thought or an idea, right, then you can add to somebody else's idea. There's a beautiful thing that happens when you share. Sharing, right, being abundant, being loving. Loving multiplies, like literally multiplies. So when you link arm in arm with somebody else and say, hey, I have this idea, what do you think? And then they come with their parts and your parts. And now you have a whole garden that you can feast from. Not just your plant, but a whole garden, a whole ecosystem working together. But we don't get that if you don't plant your seed first. And I want to say that I understand how scary it is. I get it, right? But we are all living off of somebody else's dream. Why not yours? Why not you? Why not you? I imagine there's, the image of the champagne flutes. Is it flutes or flutes? I don't know. Anyway, champagne glasses. And it's in a pyramid style. And what do? They pour it from the top, right? And then all of it pours out into the next round of glasses. And then they pour out to the next round of glasses. That's what it's like when you are caring for yourself, when you're loving yourself, right? But also when you are planting your seed. When you're planting your seed, you're pouring into your cup. And then things overflow from your cup into other people. Other people feast from your dream, even if it is just you being happier, right? If you love painting and you want to paint and it makes you happy, guess what? You're going to go out into the world and you're going to be a happier person. People are going to benefit from you being fulfilled and happy because you're doing what you want to do. You see what I'm saying? And because you're fulfilled, you can show up for other people. Like you don't even have to be a full-time artist for people to benefit from your art. You know what I'm saying? You as a person are a benefit in general. The art is extra. That's just one way that you can benefit the world. But what are the dreams that you have in your heart? What are the things that you're afraid to share? And we're going to talk more about seedlings and being a seed and all these things that we talk about in the garden. But I really want you to consider for this episode, what are those dreams that you're afraid to plant and why? Right? And what I will also say is not every seed germinates. Right? Not every seed becomes a seedling. But even then, it's still beneficial. I use this example in the garden. When we plant seeds, right? Sometimes the seed gets eaten by the bird. Sometimes the seed dies in the soil, right? But even then, it's still not a waste. Like you can mourn it, right? Our hopes can be dashed a little bit, but there's still beauty in that, right? Because if the seed goes back into the ground, what happens? It enriches the soil. Right? So it's still beneficial. It's still beneficial, right? It benefits the soil. If the bird eats the seed, it's still beneficial because the bird can eat now, and it going back into, and I'll get more into this later. But just consider that we were all given seeds. Our dreams are seeds for us to eat from, but also for others to eat from as well. And I don't want you to sit and say like, oh, my dreams don't matter. It does. Like they do. Your dreams are so important. We need your dreams. Your dreams can save lives. They can bring joy. They can heal. There's something beautiful about listening to a song, even sad songs. I love sad songs. Sad songs are my favorite because they're so honest. The sad songs are so honest. And because we're so like hyper happy all the time, like, oh, be happy, clap, clap, dance, dance. It's something vulnerable and healing when you hear someone else giving words to things that you don't have words for, right? When you hear someone else singing something that you feel, they give voice to what you experience, or they give music to what you experience, or a movie or a writing or a poem or something, right? And we resonate with that and we hold it sacred and tight. So even the things that we think are ugly are still beneficial. Even the things that we think are inconvenient or not what the world needs now, we still need it. We need you. You're not here just to be wallpaper. You know what I'm saying? Your creation is not just happenstance. It's not just because. You are here and you are already impactful, right? And the dreams that you've been given, the seeds that you've been given to plant would impact even more. Again, you are wholly enough. You are already enough. We're not talking about your worth here. We're not talking about, your importance. You're important here because you exist. We need you here, right? But we also need your dreams. We need your bravery. We carry the seeds from other seeds of others, and it's our job to share those seeds. So even if you can't figure out what you have for yourself, like, oh, what are my own personal seeds? What have you gotten from somebody else that you can give? Maybe you can use somebody else's work as a launching pad for your own, or as a, like people have book clubs, right? They didn't write those books, but they're using those books as a as a launching pad to be able to have conversations, right? To be able to connect with other people. That is still using the seeds of other people. And it's still your seed because the book club is your idea, right? So you don't have to be the source of this thing. I just ask that you be open because your dreams change the world. Black women dreams change the world. And I don't want you to have your dreams deferred, right? And again, we'll get more into that later. But count the cost. Count the cost. I know it's scary to share your art. I know it's scary to share your heart. I know, because it's scary for me too, right? But what I can say to you on this side of things is that it's so worth it. Even all the rejection I got, all the hate messages and all the things that hurt, it did hurt. And I'm not going to downplay it. But being free and being able to create and to share my heart with people and to have my art find the people that it resonates with, it's magical. Like, there are no words. The English language is limited. There are no words for it. And you are just as magical. Okay? So what happens when a Black woman dreams? What happens when you dream? The world changes. She dreams of a future that includes the well-being of herself and others. When a Black woman dreams, we're able to see possibilities we never knew existed. There's something spiritual about Black women. I'm going to say it confidently. There's something spiritual about Black women. She can take matter out of nothingness and make it into something. I have seen the women in my own life. I have seen my mom. I have seen my grandmother. I have seen my other grandmother. I've seen my aunts. I've seen women, my friends, like my community. I've seen women make something out of nothing. You're not finna tell me that there's not something magical and spiritual about Black women. We have the power. You have the power to plant your seed and to have people to eat from it for yourself, right? To enjoy the fruits of your own labor and to have other people eat from that labor as well, that labor of love. So I see you. I believe in you. Please hear me. Hear me. You have the power to change the world. And I believe that fully. And so I'm going to leave it here because I could keep going on and on and on. But I'm really excited to go on the series with you about dreams. And I really want us to be able to work through our dreams together, getting our dreams launched, doing the things together. So be on the lookout for more stuff in the future. But for right now, this is enough. This is enough. Just consider that you are magical, that you have seeds in your pocket that are waiting to kiss the soil. You have dreams, the seeds that the soil is ready to receive. We're ready to receive you. All you have to do is plant. That's it. That's your only job. Okay, so I see you, I love you, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Until then, keep creating, keep making, keep dreaming. Even if you just dream. Don't figure out the how right now. Don't figure out, how I'm gonna make this happen. Don't worry about that right now. Give yourself the freedom and the space just to dream. You don't have to figure it out right now. That's the beauty of dreaming. You don't have to put limitations on your dream. Anything is possible. Anything is possible, period, right? But especially in your imagination. Anything is possible. And I believe in you. And I'm excited. I'm so excited. Okay. So I'm going to leave it there. And I'll talk to you all in the next episode. All right. Love y'all. Bye.